3, 2, 1, action.
Hello, friends.
Hi.
My name is Mallory, and this is Joshua, and in about a month, we will be the Pecks, which is super awesome. We are engaged, and have felt inspired to share our story. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves, and what brought us here, and why we want to start this journey. You want to go ahead?
Absolutely. Thanks for starting us off. We've both really been prompted to talk about who we are and the experiences we've had, like she said. And Mallory's pretty amazing, and I love having her as kind of a guiding light to help us both be able to share and open up more. But we'll go ahead and start off, and I'll share a little bit about me, and then Mallory will take her turn and she'll share about herself, just so you guys can get to know us a little better and what we're expecting to do in your podcast or whatever you like to call it, videos, voice, whatever. But yeah, so I grew up here in Utah, and I came from a big family. At least it was big to me. I have 7 kids, and some of my hobbies, I danced growing up. I played sports. I did baseball, basketball, but dance was my big thing. I danced ever since I was 6 or 7 years old. And I grew up dancing, and then I taught after dance, taught after hip hop, taught after high school, and I taught hip hop for a while. And I've done a lot of ballet performances for studios, and I'm currently rehearsing for the Nutcracker. I'll be Jocelyn Meyer in a Nutcracker upcoming show for Christmas, which will be super exciting. And when I was younger, I thought it would be kind of a career path for me, and now it's just kind of a fun hobby that I like to do to get out and do fun stuff. A little bit more personal things about me is after high school, my high school girlfriend at the time, we got pregnant. And so I had to grow up pretty fast and get ready for a kid. And so we got married and had 4 kids in 4 years, which was crazy fast. And they're amazing kids. I love them to death. And in 2021, I started my own company where I had the desire to stay home with my kids. And I was, again, kind of like this. I felt prompted to make choices that led to starting that company. And so I do party equipment rentals. I throw weddings and birthday parties and all sorts of fun events. And I'm sure I'll tell you more about those as I go along. But then after being married for 7 years and a lot of hardships, I ended up getting divorced. Unfortunately, my ex left me for another man, and it hurt a lot, but I was able to learn a lot from that. And then that was in 2023. In 2024, I got remarried, and I kind of rushed into it. I was desperate to find love again, and I rushed into something that she wasn't ready for, and she ended up leaving me for her ex after only 2 months of marriage, which is crazy. And so I got to learn a lot more from that too. And then Mallory and I met in the beginning of this year, in the spring of this year, and it's been really amazing to get to know her. It's just it's like she just turned on a light switch in my life, and it's been amazing. So I'm really excited. I had a 3-month rule where I wouldn't be exclusive with anyone until we got to know each other for 3 months. And so we got to know each other for 3 months. During that 3 months, we were pretty sure we were supposed to be together, but I was determined to wait and take as much time as we possibly could while being madly in love with each other. And so I took that time and got to know her as much as possible. She was from Arizona. We met on Facebook dating, and so we did long distance, and that was crazy. We video called every single day, and we flew back and forth multiple times. It was a lot, but it was so worth it. And the first month that we met, we actually video called for over 400 hours, which is a lot. And then I guess it was the first month and a half, technically. So I'll be as honest as possible here. And then after 3 months of getting to know each other, we became official boyfriend and girlfriend. And then after 3 months of boyfriend and girlfriend, I proposed, and she wasn't surprised at all because we were both ready and we were already pretty much planning the wedding. And so here we are engaged, and it may seem super fast to some people, but for us, it seems like we've known each other forever, and we've both had crazy experiences in our lives that we can really know what's important in a relationship. And I'm not going to pretend to be perfect. I don't know everything in the relationship, but I know that we're going to face them together whenever trials come. But we've definitely learned a lot and experienced a lot. I feel like an old man at this point. Back in my day. But I'm super excited to see our future together. She can tell you more about that and about her story growing up.
Yeah, so like he said, I am from Arizona. I grew up with 2 siblings, and it was awesome.
That's our daughter, in case you can't tell.
Hot dog.
Hey, I'll make you one after we're done, okay? I love you, sweetness. I'll make one for you after. They have to be cooked, okay, sweetie? So I'll cook one for you. The ones that we have need to be cooked. They're raw. They're not like normal hot dogs. I love you, sweetness. Can you finish recording? We'll be right out, okay?
I'm from Arizona. I have 2 siblings. I dealt with some chronic health issues throughout high school. And that was heavy and hard. Then I got diagnosed with celiac. So I can't have gluten, which is totally fine. I've been gluten-free for about 10 years. And after high school, I worked and did a little bit of college. My senior year, I met someone and started dating them. And after their mission, we got married in 2021. And there was a lot of hard things about that marriage. One of those being multiple miscarriages throughout that time. But we did have one daughter, and she is amazing. And then at the end of 2024, he and I separated, and in the beginning of 2025, we got divorced. And I felt super, super prompted to start dating quickly. It felt like God was pushing me towards what my life needed to be. So he told a little bit about our story, but from my perspective, I got on the dating apps because I didn't know how to meet anyone. And it worked out really well.
I think so.
We met and fell in love so quickly. And it's been amazing. And I just moved to Utah about a month ago with my daughter. So now we've got 5 little kids running around all the time, and it's wonderful. But like he said, we felt really prompted to start sharing our testimonies more, sharing our stories more. And the idea of a podcast came up. So I'll let him share what brought him to it first. Then I'll share my side of things.
It's awesome. And you'll see me checking over here. It's because I have my notes. I have terrible memory, and sometimes I like to ramble along a lot. So this will keep me in check. But yeah, some of the events or thoughts that led up to the decision to start a podcast and to start sharing our story was it started with my business when I started my business in 2021. I kind of had my own idea of the vision of my business and what I wanted things to look like. And Heavenly Father just kind of told me, nope, we're going to do it my way. And I trusted him. I said, hey, I don't know anything about running a business. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to dedicate my business to you and trust you and trust that everything's going to work out. And in doing so, it morphed from one idea to another. Originally, it was supposed to be like a family-friendly nightclub where we could hold events or have kind of like a fun party space that people could feel comfortable going to without having the pressure of alcohol or drugs or bad music and stuff like that. So that was kind of my vision of it originally, and maybe that might happen someday, but it morphed from that to just renting out things. And part of it was because of COVID, because COVID hit and we weren't going to do event center right in the middle of COVID. And so I bought a pair of speakers and started DJing events. And when I wasn't DJing events, I rented those speakers out. And I actually made more money and had more success renting the speakers out than I did DJing events. And so I was like, hey, what else can we rent out? What are things people need? And I went from buying this $200 set of speakers to buying a $400 bounce house, rented that out, and then continued adding more stuff there, growing and growing every single year. And it's been a huge blessing. And the timing's worked out perfectly. I've been able to see God's hand in everything, every decision, even from before I started the business. I had all these jobs that I was jumping from to try and provide for my family, trying to be a responsible dad. And even though I felt a lot of the times that I was misplaced, that I wasn't meant to be in these jobs and these work situations. And I felt like I needed to move on. And so I did. And I moved on from one job to another. And I felt kind of like a failure until now, as I look back, each job that I did had a little piece or part of knowledge and learning experience that I needed in order to fulfill my business and to be successful now. I felt like Heavenly Father was taking me to school, which is crazy, really cool. But yeah, I did a pizza delivery for a while, and so I learned how to do deliveries for my business, going and setting up and dealing with customers. I worked at a bank for a while and figured out how to do the financing and learning how to invest and to work on making sure my budget was working for my business. I had some manager positions. I did some sales jobs, and everything kind of worked. It fit kind of as a puzzle to work things out. And not intended, but greatly appreciated. And as part of my business, I felt prompted to share my testimony with as many people as possible. Kind of just how I did just barely. Anytime people ask, how did you start your business? How did you get into that? I took that as an opportunity to share my testimony of God and his hand in my life and all the things that fit into place. And I had this experience, and I had kind of been thinking about starting a podcast or doing videos. I even, a little while back ago, beginning of last year, I don't remember exactly, I started a blog. I don't really share it with a lot of people. It's just kind of something that I like to do. It's just kind of a get words out and express myself. So it's kind of nice to do that. And so the other day at dance rehearsal, I just finished with rehearsal and I was about to head home, and one of the other male guest artists who's in the show, I kind of sat down with them and wanted to introduce myself and get to know him a little bit because I hadn't really known him. And I know a lot of people in the industry. And so it was nice to sit down and kind of ask him about his job and what he does for work, where he was from, all that kind of stuff. And then he asked me the same things. I was able to bear my testimony about my business because he asked me about my life and all the struggles I went through. I was able to tell him about my amazing kids and my divorces, and to be able to talk to him about that. And he just kind of sat quietly. He was a really good listener. And after I was done, he was like, wow, he should be an inspirational speaker. Give me just a second. This might happen a lot because we always have kids.
Cold.
You're cold.
Yeah.
Grab a blanket or jacket.
I don't know. It's not a blanket for my nose.
Do you want to close the front of that door? Is that door blowing in cold air?
Yeah.
Oh, you can close it if you want. Watch your head. No, maybe that'll be part of our show. Our show, we'll just have cute kids coming in every once in a while interrupting us, which is totally fine because they're kids. They need us. But now it's nap time, so they just don't want to take a nap. Anyway, so yeah, so this guy, he just had listened to my whole story, and he's like, wow, you should be an inspirational speaker. And I've been told that before after sharing my story. People have been like, wow, that's awesome. So thankful. And I haven't thought a whole lot about it. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I've thought about it, and I've just never really known where to start, or whether it's really a prompting from Heavenly Father or just me just wanting to share. But then I came home and I told Mallory about it, and I just let her know. I was like, hey, he said this, and it made me feel good about myself, And she kind of went quiet for a minute. It's just like, I need to tell you something. And she'll say it in her own words. I don't exactly remember word for word what she said, but I know that she's like, I have felt prompted to share my story, my experiences. And she's a little bit more shy than I am. I love talking to people. I love making friends, and it's kind of a gift I have. And so she was like, yeah, I think this is something that we need to look into and something we do, but I don't know how to do it. With her, she was saying, she's like, I don't know how to do it. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know how to do it. Like, I like immediately, as soon as she said that, I just had an immediate, like, step-by-step clear actions that we needed to take to be able to start a podcast, and the equipment we needed, and I was thinking at first that we needed to buy all this stuff, like nice camera and nice mics. And I was like, wait, I have these mics, these cute little mics that are adorable. Hopefully they're working okay.
They're cute.
But everything was like, wow, we have everything we need to go ahead and start right now. And so we just kind of sat down together and talked about things that we wanted to do and talk about and share. And so I'm really excited to share. And a lot of the times what we're going to do, I think, is answering like questions that specific people have. Mallory has some friends that she has a lot of amazing friends. And she's pretty inspirational to a lot of people, even though she's too shy to talk about it sometimes. But this will get her out of her shell. I'm excited to hear her talk and share all her amazing experiences with you. But she has some friends that have reached out to her and asked her questions about her divorce and how she's handled that. And I've been asked a lot of times, like, how do you stay strong when things are so hard, and how do you handle so many, like, being a single father of 4 kids, and a lot of the times we'll answer those questions as people address them. And I'm excited. Any questions that you guys have, you're welcome to reach out, maybe comment on our videos or send us a direct message, a DM, and that's what DM stands for, right? Yeah, I feel old sometimes, but I'm not that old. But yeah, that's kind of, we can talk about those and discuss. And we already do that all the time when things come up that people have questions about, or things that are in our mind. We talk about in just normal conversation all the time. And it's pretty amazing. Some of the conversations we have are, you just can really feel the spirit. And I'm excited to share that spirit and those conversations with you guys. So Valerie's going to tell us about her steps and her promptings that Heavenly Father's pushed in her life to lead her to this point.
In general, I can be really good at ignoring promptings when I'm afraid of them. So this has been something that I've been battling with for a while. Quite a few years ago, I was a part of an Instagram account for people that were waiting for missionaries, that were dating missionaries and waiting for them to come home. And I loved it. I had the opportunity to be an admin on the page. So for one day a week, I was in charge of posting and responding to messages. And I felt really like that was a really good place for me to be. I made a ton of friends through that page and got to share my experiences and make new friends and get to know new people. And it was a really good experience. So since then, I have tried or been wanting to find a way to experience that again. To be able to share my story and make friends through sharing my experiences. And I felt prompted to do some sort of video journals throughout the years, and I've never found the best or an easy way to do it. There haven't really been apps or things like that to help facilitate that I've been able to find. So I've tried a little bit here and there and just pushed it away, and then every few months or years, God's like, hey, remember I told you to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't know how. And the last few weeks, it's been a lot stronger. I've felt that push to share my story, to share my testimony, and I fought it so hard. I did not know how to do it. I was afraid. But then he kept mentioning things like, hey, we should do a podcast together. Our conversations are so great. And I had a couple of friends and even people I didn't know reach out to me about my divorce. And I've had people reach out to me about my miscarriages and ask for advice or just ask to have a friend pray for them. And so I've seen the blessings of sharing my hardships, sharing my trials, and sharing my life. So I know that it's something I need to do. And when he came home and told me again, hey, I think it would be really cool if we started a podcast, I really did just go quiet. I heard the Spirit go, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing you. So I finally opened up to him about the promptings I had been having and said, okay, I guess I can't ignore this anymore. And he just jumped on it, and I love that because his support has meant the world to me and has really opened up doors. So here we are, ready to share our lives with people we don't know because it's what we're supposed to do. And I'm excited and terrified.
Me too. I get nervous talking sometimes, even though I love it. But when it's something I'm passionate about, there's nothing that'll hold me back. Like somebody can ask me one question and I'll just go off on a whole rant. Sometimes I feel bad for people because they're like, oh, I don't need your life story. I'm going to share it anyway. But I think it's pretty amazing. I don't know, a question for you in the past. What's some of the biggest barriers or something that you feel has held you back from wanting to speak up or share your story or anything like that?
I have made a lot of excuses. Oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't have the equipment. I don't have time. How am I supposed to raise kids while doing it? And you took away all of those excuses. I don't have any anymore. But I think that's been the biggest thing is I've just found reasons not to, even though it's the right thing to do. But one-on-one, I love it. If somebody reaches out to me, asks me a question, I will sit down and I'll tell you anything. Anything you want to know, I'll share my story, I'll share my testimony. It's so much easier. But on a broader scale, or being the one to reach out first and step out first, that's where I just avoid it.
Yeah, that's understandable. I actually had a lesson. It might have been something, but when you said that, like your excuses just disappeared one at a time. Oh, it was in our Sunday school lesson last week on Sunday. They talked about this where eventually God gets rid of excuses. Like we can make excuses all day, but eventually God's just going to progressively get rid of them one at a time.
He's good at that.
Until there's absolutely no excuse not to do what's right. And I think that's really cool to be able to recognize that. And to recognize that when something's meant to happen, God's going to make it happen. He's going to.
He did not stop this time. He's like, you're going to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know why it's scarier sometimes to talk to like a group of people versus just one-on-one. But maybe it's because with a group of people, you don't know who's going to accept what you're saying or who's going to be judging you or kind of things. But I think that's one thing I need to work on is to stop caring about what people think of me and also not undervalue what I have to say. I think a lot of the times people are afraid to speak up or say something because they don't feel valued or they don't think other people value what they have to say.
I felt that. Not necessarily that other people won't value what I have to say, but that I'm just flat out not good enough. Or I'm not experienced enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not qualified enough to share or to be heard. So I definitely get that.
Yeah. I found that a lot with I've been called to be an elders quorum teacher a few times in a few different wards. And every single time I'm like, I'm just this young kid. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Am I supposed to teach these elders who are in their 80s sometimes, these old guys, or pretty much everyone has more experience than I do. But I've really, this ward now that I've been teaching for a while now has been a whole different experience where I've really just trusted my experiences. And sometimes, and even as a father, I recognize that our kids teach us stuff all the time. You know, they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however old our kids are now. But they teach us stuff all the time. So why can't I teach older people and have value in my words? And I'm excited to share those with you.
I'm excited to approach this with humility and trust in God. And to do it together.
Absolutely. So yeah, send us any questions or any things that you have holding you down on your heart. Let us know if there's anything you feel like we should address. Any questions you have for us, even about our personal lives. We're going to get pretty personal. We kind of did already today, but yeah,
there's more.
There's more, I promise. We're going to show as much love and respect for everyone as we can. And we're not here to talk bad about our exes or people who've wronged us in the past, but we'll be open about our experiences and be happy to share any personal questions. If you have questions about our lives, about our kids, our work, our past history, our past marriages, but yeah, anything that you want to share with anyone else or finish us off with?
We're grateful to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll hopefully see you next time.